New revelations tonight about Republican gubernatorial candidate Richard Irvin. On Monday, WTTW News reported on a company that had donated big to campaign funds connected to the Aurora mayor and got lucrative city contracts and legislation. Irvin is, of course, backed to the tune of $20 million by the state's wealthiest resident, Ken Griffin. Now, a WTTW examination of further campaign filings and city contracts shows developers that donated tens of thousands to campaign funds connected to Irvin and his former law partner stand to receive tens of millions from Aurora taxpayers. Nick Blumberg and Paris Schutz join us now for the latest in this investigation. Paris, let's start with you.
Well, Brandis, Griffin has stated that he believes Irvin is the candidate to clean up waste and corruption in Springfield. But as you mentioned, WTTW has reviewed campaign filings and Aurora City records. We found two development companies that had donated nearly $100,000 in two funds connected to Irvin and his former private practice law partner, Brittany Pedersen. Those firms stand to receive, all told, more than $30 million from Aurora taxpayers in the form of incentives and benefits. Now, Ms. Pedersen is running as a Democrat for Kane County judge. This all follows our reporting on Monday about a telecommunications company, Scientel Solutions, that through the company and employees donated more than $135,000 to funds connected to Irvin and Pedersen and won millions in contracts from the city and legislation backed by Irvin that allowed them to build a lucrative communications tower.
And now, Nick, you found another firm that's also donated heavily and that received incentives from the city.
That's right, Brandis. Redeveloping Aurora's downtown has long been a priority for city leaders. In 2019, the City Council approved a deal with JH Real Estate Partners to redevelop the historic Hobbs building, which was long vacant and in disrepair. The deal called for a $13 million overhaul of the Hobbs, shown in a rendering here, as well as two buildings next door that JH already owned to create apartments and commercial space. Now, as part of the deal, JH got the Hobbs building for free. That's a $300,000 value, according to the assessment. It got a $1.5 million grant and a $1.5 million bridge loan from the city. And the city also created a new TIF district that covers the three buildings. JH stands to get 80%, as much as 80%, of the new tax revenue over the next 20 plus years to pay for redevelopment costs. Now, since 2019, the year the deal was approved, JH, its owners, and other companies they control have donated nearly $10,000 to Irvin's mayoral campaign fund, more than $16,000 to ex-law partner Brittany Pedersen's judicial campaign fund, and $48,000 to the Build Our Future PAC that's controlled by Irvin's mayoral campaign manager. Now, in an email, JH's owners told us the donations were only because they supported Irvin's vision for Aurora, saying, quote, Richard Irvin has been pro-business and has been very supportive in the overall development in downtown Aurora, and they add the crime rate in downtown Aurora has dwindled dramatically.
Now, Paris, another project, Pacifica Square. Tell us about that one.
Yeah, Brandis, Pacifica Square is a 360,000 square foot Asian-themed mall and shopping center in Aurora, developed by a company called Windfall Properties. City records show that the project stands to receive north of $17 million in tax incentives. Now, this developer also won a contract to develop prime riverfront property near downtown Aurora with a total of nearly $9 million in public incentives. The city voted to donate the land to them for free, and then another $7 million in forgivable loans and cash to get the project started. Now, campaign filings show that Pacifica Square, a company called Pacific Square with the same owners, and two of the company principals donated a total of $25,000 to Irvin's campaign fund. Now, Windfall owner Eddie Nee, which is seen here in a video surprising Irvin with a large birthday cake on his birthday in 2018, he is a familiar name. He is the developer that, in conversations recorded by Danny Solis, agreed to hire Mike Madigan's law firm to be able to develop state-owned land in Chinatown. He wanted to build on state-owned land there in Chinatown. This is part of Madigan's sprawling federal corruption case. Now, with respect to Aurora, Nee told us, quote, if you don't have the right incentives, nobody would do business here. Now, Irvin and Pedersen and a spokesperson for the city of Aurora have declined to return our calls.
Okay, so Nick, is it unusual for a political leader to accept campaign money from folks that get this kind of business with the city?
Well, in Illinois, no. And we should point out that no one involved in the story has been accused of any wrongdoing, but campaign finance reform advocates say that Illinois' laws are weak, and that leads to candidates who aren't necessarily independently wealthy accepting these large donations. Now, Elisa Kaplan, who leads the group Reform for Illinois, she says when companies doing business with the municipality also donate big to local politicians, that can erode constituents' trust. She says limits on how much companies who want to do business with the city can donate to political campaigns can help address the issue. And she pointed out that in 22 states and at the federal level, companies cannot give directly to campaigns or to candidates, but that in Illinois, it's legal. Now, in a statement, the Irvin campaign says under Mayor Irvin's tenure, Aurora has seen more economic development than at any time in the city's recent history, and his proven track record of revitalizing Aurora is in stark contrast to J.B. Pritzker, who has driven thousands of families and businesses out of Illinois with his high-tax pro-criminal agenda. Brandis?
Okay, good reporting from Nick Blumberg and Paris Schutz. Thanks to you both.
Thank you.